Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video. Today we are looking at my analysis of another Senate race. This one did not end as closely as I thought it would. For most of the season I thought it would be a very, very close race, even up until the end. I did have Josh Hawley pulling out the victory over Claire McCaskill. However, I did not think it would be by the margin it was. But basically, this is the county by county map. As you can see, there's a lot of red. The only counties that went blue, St. Louis is over here. The smaller town of Columbia is here. And Kansas City, that's in both Kansas and Missouri, as you probably all know, was blue here. Most of the rest of the state is pretty, especially down here, is pretty red. Up here is pretty red. Around the cities, like the suburbs of the cities, are less red, but they're still overall red. Which is interesting because many people have been saying that the suburbs will be a potential turning point in 2020. That would be where the Democrats could make their biggest gains in the suburbs, especially suburban women, which in the state of Missouri at least is yet to be seen. So next we're going to compare what the Real Clear Politics average was going into election night to the actual results. So the Real Clear Politics average, which is where I get my numbers usually, Real Clear Politics and 538. For the video's sake, I'm only pulling from one, and that's Real Clear Politics. So as you can see, their average was 0.6 Hawley, and the final was 6 Hawley. The final was 6 Hawley. As you can see, a lot of the undecided vote ended up going for Josh Hawley, which isn't that surprising in a deep red state. However, the average polling actually overestimated how Claire McCaskill did. Which is pretty interesting to me. Usually, they just have the undecideds, and the undecideds can flip how it goes. But in this case, people who said that they were going for McCaskill here went for either Hawley or a third party. I believe there is a libertarian candidate. I'm not 100% sure. But I'm assuming that's where the difference is here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where the difference is because 51.5 plus 45.5 does not equal 100%. Obviously, there's some write-in votes and some fun stuff like that, but I can't imagine there was that many write-in votes. You can see how this was expected to go. At the beginning, it was supposed to be McCaskill, and then it slowly became closer Republican. Then Josh Hawley had the lead for a while, and then is there a day in here? There are a couple days in here. There's one day where it was a tie, and then Josh Hawley went back to the lead. So for most of the time, especially after Kavanaugh, it was expected that this state would go red, but maybe not by this margin. Let's take a look at some exit polls. I like looking at exit polls. Some people are slightly skeptical, and I agree. You can't 100% believe these, or any polls for that matter. But overall, I think they're a pretty good indicator. So of the male, they were talking about the gender gap. 57% of males voted for Hawley, and 51% voted for McCaskill. So more guys were more likely to back Hawley than women were likely to back McCaskill. Younger voters vote Democrat. That makes sense. Race, white, Republican, everything else, Democrat. Makes sense. Latino is pretty close. It's a lot closer than usual. 53 to 44. White white women went Republican. People of non-white people voted very much for Democrats as usual. Um, People with an associate's degree or less voted more for Hawley. People with a bachelor's degree or more voted for McCaskill. Sorry. Um, Education and gender. White college women were the only white group that voted mostly for the Democrats, which is surprising. And what's also surprising is that 51% of people in this range voted for Claire McCaskill. Whenever I would think after it turns red, it would just stay red. But apparently, um, this income bracket like Democrats more than Republicans. I don't know. Party ID, independents went slightly for the Republicans, which is enough in a deep red state because there are more Republicans than Democrats regardless. Um, Ideology, conservatives obviously went for Hawley, liberals obviously went for McCaskill, but moderates went for Claire McCaskill 60%, which is further proof that conservatives outdo everything else in the state. Um, yeah, only 23% of people call themselves liberal. Um, if you're a gun owner, you're 62% chance that you voted for Josh Hawley. Um, Trumpers voted very much for Hawley. Clinton people went very much for McCaskill. Trump has a +7 approval rating as of the exit polls. Um, Time of decision last month. I believe that was around Kavanaugh. I could be wrong, but I believe that was around a month. Around a month is from Kavanaugh. 48% of people in the state said that McCaskill's positions were too liberal, whereas only 30%, 37% said they were that Hawley was too conservative. McCaskill had a -12 approval rating. Josh Hawley had a +6 approval rating. Obviously, that makes sense. Was Kavanaugh's vote important? 49% said yes. 39% of people said, 49% of people said it was the most important factor. Let's see here. Willingness to compromise, 62% of them voted for McCaskill, which is fair. To give her credit, she was more of a moderate than most people are. Opinions of the parties, this is the last thing we'll take a look at. Democrats had a -11% approval rating, as Republicans had a 2% approval rating. So thanks for watching this video. Comment down below what you thought. Tell me about any videos you'd want to see in the future, specifically any races you would want me to look into soon. I will mention that I will wait to look at the Arizona, Florida, and Mississippi special until those races are fully decided. So thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you all later.